This year I had the opportunity to photograph two marriage proposals. They were both awesome and each unique in its own way, but not necessarily for the reasons you might immediately think. Let's talk about it. Generally speaking, I meet with couples after the question has been popped, and our relationship develops from there through the wedding day, and sometimes past that. Prior to this year, I'd photographed only one other proposal. That one has its own unique story too, but since these were both from this year, I feel like I have an opportunity to think about and compare my relationship with all the players. Earlier this year, I got an inquiry from Russ, who was planning on proposing to Annabelle, his girlfriend of a few years. They're both avid mountain bikers, and he wanted to propose to her during one of their rides. He thought it would be a great thing to have photographed, and I couldn't have agreed more. He and I spoke over Zoom and then again on the phone as the date got closer so we could narrow down the plans. We scheduled a date and had a location on a mountain in the Berkshires where he was planning their ride and the proposal. Russ wanted to pop the question before they went up to start their ride, and I was going to surreptitiously be there photographing them. Having done this kind of thing before, I knew I could only stay hidden for so long, but as long as she didn't see me or was aware of me until he was actually asking the question, my thinking is it's okay if she saw me at that point. Plus, I hoped that in the excitement of the moment, my presence wouldn't be distracting. I had a second/assistant to help me photograph it and film some behind-the-scenes footage, and we got there early to scout the area and make a game plan. Once Russ and Annabelle arrived, he saw me and gave me a nod, and a few minutes later, watching from a short distance, we saw him walk up to her and, camera up to my eye, I started photographing them while moving closer. It was a great moment. Annabelle looked so happy and jumped into Russ's arms, and suddenly she realized there were two people taking her picture, which was pretty funny because she didn't know whether to look at us or just keep going. After the moment had passed and she'd said yes, we introduced ourselves and said congratulations and made a couple of portraits of them. They thought that was going to be that, but I joined them on the lift to the top of the mountain to document the rest of their adventure. At the summit, I took more photos of them with their bikes and made a few more portraits with the expanse of the Berkshires behind them. There were also some candid moments with other cyclists who were curious about my presence, so Russ and Annabelle told them their story, prompting another round of congratulations. After that, they rode off down the trail together. They've since set a date, and I can't wait for their wedding next summer. The second proposal happened just last week. It involves someone I've known for years, Caitlin, who is the daughter of a local bridal show producer. She was a teenager when we first met. I did her senior photos way back and have since photographed her doing cosplay and had an opportunity shortly after the pandemic to make some portraits of her and her family trio. About a month ago at a small wedding expo, Caitlin's mom Lisa, the aforementioned bridal show producer, pulled me aside to tell me that Kaye, one-third of the family trio, was planning on proposing to Caitlin and Nick, the third member of the triad. They were talking about doing updated family portraits, and Kaye thought this would be a good opportunity to propose to the other two, having me there to not only create new portraits, but also document the actual proposal. I was, of course, all in. We met up beforehand, and Kaye told me about her plan, and I had some thoughts as to how to structure the session, which would culminate in the actual proposal. We messaged a couple of times as the date got closer to fine-tune the plans, and when the day came, Karen, who was coincidentally my second/assistant for the first proposal, was with me for this one too. We met them at Quabbin Reservoir, which is a great place for engagement sessions and portraits, especially this time of year when the leaves are changing color. They brought along their dog Harley Quinn, who kept us company until a park ranger told us that dogs weren't allowed at the reservoir. So Caitlin's brother Connor, who was on dog duty, took her home, and the rest of us continued on with the session. I was shooting both digital and film with a Rolleiflex 2.8 GX. One of the benefits of that camera is I can attach the trigger for my off-camera lighting to it, allowing me to use the same lighting setup for both digital and film photos. We drove around to different locations within the park, making a series of portraits of the three of them, which would culminate in an area I thought would be good for the actual proposal. Once in position for one more portrait before the main event, we segued over to a picnic table where Kaye pulled out a prop she was planning on using. Inside this painted box were letters she had written to both Caitlin and Nick over the years. The first letter from each letter would spell out, "Will you marry me?" Now that is some forethought. It was at this point Karen and I lowered the off-camera lighting and I photographed the proposal in the fading twilight by ambient light while she filmed some behind-the-scenes footage. One of the things I aim for while photographing people is to put myself in their shoes and try to feel what they're feeling in that moment. If there's something in my life I can access as a mental proxy, I can put that feeling to use in service of the moment I'm capturing. I don't want to just take a snapshot of what's happening in front of me. I want the feeling of what's happening to come through in the frame so the viewer can feel that too. It isn't 100%, but that is the best case scenario. Much of this depends on my rapport with the people I'm photographing. Some people are more open with their feelings, and when I feel that, it helps me enter the moment in an authentic way. If I can anticipate the light and compose the frame thoughtfully, that to me is a recipe for creating a successful photograph. Part of developing rapport with anyone is to get them comfortable enough that they forget that I'm there. Russ and Annabelle were open with their emotions. I didn't feel like they were closed off in any way. So I felt like I felt what they were feeling, and I feel like the photos were successful because of it. They were immersed in the moment and just being themselves, which to me are the best people to photograph. My rapport with the trio was a little different because, having known them for years and having a pre-existing relationship, I was already part of their world, and they could be their authentic selves during an emotional moment. Access to people isn't just about physical proximity, it's about people letting down their guard and allowing you in. Not everyone is able to do that or is comfortable with it, which I understand. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been told over the years that I can be a calming presence on a wedding day, which helps put people at ease. I've heard people in this industry ask, "What's your superpower?" Maybe that's mine. My goal with any session or moment isn't just to take a snapshot. I'm not just capturing people in a space. I'm trying to get underneath that and show people something about themselves they might not have otherwise realized about their relationship. This isn't easy to do. It's the difficulty and the challenge of it that makes photographs that exhibit these qualities something special. It's for sure not something I nail every time out. There are a lot of factors that go into what makes capturing a moment successful. There are very minute differences that separate a good photograph from a great one. When it all comes together, it's something to celebrate, and when the people I'm photographing feel that too, to me that makes it all worthwhile. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your spending a few minutes with me. If you like what you heard in this video, please like and subscribe. What are your thoughts on creating connections between yourself and the people you're photographing? How do you build rapport? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos like this and hear more stories, check out this other one I made for you. This is Ask a Wedding Photographer. I'm Seth Kaye, and I'm here to help.